It seems to me that in our kind of world, we need to think carefully about the conditions that make circles of trust accessible, available, possible for real people who lead real lives. And 5 of those conditions have occurred to me over the years. By that I mean a whole bunch of things, but especially clear limits on the time commitment involved. We try to be very clear with people about how much time they're asked to give to this. And then we try to keep time very carefully. I think one of the things that makes the soul feel safe is leadership that comes through on its promises. And one of the promises we make is how we're going to use that time. There's another piece of clarity that has to do with the intentionality of this group, why it is we're together and where it is we're trying to go together, which constantly reverts back to that touchstone of honoring the soul, of making safe space for you to listen to your inner teacher, being alone together in a community of people where you can both hear yourself and do some sorting and sifting of that inner truth in the presence of others, gaining also their encouragement. And clarity, too, about the ground rules that make all of that possible. So that there's intentionality not only about where we're going, but about how we're going to get there. There's very specific guidance that people don't find confining, but liberating, that helps shape our relationships. And that end up making these groups, for most people I've talked to, not a heavy add-on to an already busy schedule, but the kind of time and space that actually liberates other parts of their life, but actually lifts something off their shoulders and gives them a more spacious sense of time and work and relationships and all of those things that we may get jammed up with otherwise. This is a little tricky one to talk about because a circle of trust can consist of 2 or 3 people who know how to hold safe space for the soul, and I'm not suggesting that they need a facilitator, but they do need a lot of sensibility and a high degree of awareness and a disciplined practice about how to keep that space safe for each other. But as a circle grows larger, and typically our circles might have 25 people in them, a skilled leader is very important because everything that we're doing is countercultural. This basic norm we have, no fixing, no saving, no advising, no setting straight, that goes right upstream against everything in our culture. And a facilitator needs to hold a space in which that norm is lifted up and insisted upon. It's really one of our non-negotiables, because when we break that rule, the soul tends to go back into hiding. Because it's critical, we're very careful about who it is that we accept into facilitator preparation, and we take at least a year to prepare those people, and often more than a year because they have a mentoring relationship that gives them another year of sort of practice before we, in many cases, before they strike out on their own. I think if a community is going to hold its own against the current of the mainstream culture, leadership is a very important component. And it's a kind of leadership that not only demands that I be granted authority by the group, but that also requires me to authorize each and every person in that group to to come from the inside out, to live out his or her beliefs, values, commitments in words and actions. So it's a mutual gift of rejoining soul and role, of bringing who you are to what you do.